Why most people fail at becoming billionaires. The billionaire illusion. Everyone wants to become rich. But very few people truly want to become billionaires. Because becoming a billionaire requires something most people psychologically cannot tolerate. Extreme uncertainty. Extreme obsession. Extreme sacrifice. Modern society romanticizes billionaires. Private jets. Luxury watches, massive mansions. But almost nobody talks about the darker reality behind extreme wealth. The loneliness, the paranoia, the pressure, the psychological abnormality required to pursue power at that scale. And this creates one of the biggest misconceptions in modern culture. Most people believe billionaires simply worked harder. They didn't. Millions of people work hard. Most remain financially trapped, because the real difference is not effort alone. It is psychology. The billionaire mindset is fundamentally different from the average human survival mindset. And this is where most people fail before they even begin. Because billionaires are not simply operating with more money. They are operating with a completely different relationship to risk, time, power, failure, opportunity, and reality itself. This is not a story about motivation. This is a story about why most people psychologically cannot escape mediocrity. Part 1. Most people are trained for safety from childhood. Most people are conditioned for stability. Go to school. Get good grades. Find a secure job. Avoid risk. Follow the system. Society rewards predictability. But billionaire outcomes rarely emerge from predictable behavior. Because extreme wealth almost always requires asymmetric risk. And most humans are biologically wired to avoid uncertainty. The average person fears embarrassment, instability, criticism, failure, social rejection. Billionaires often move toward those things. Because they understand something most people never realize. Massive rewards usually exist where uncertainty is highest. This is why many billionaires appear irrational in the beginning. When Elon Musk invested nearly all of his PayPal fortune into Tesla and SpaceX, many people thought he was insane. When Jeff Bezos left Wall Street to sell books online, it looked ridiculous. At the time, their decisions did not look intelligent. They looked dangerous. And this is the first psychological divide. Most people need certainty before action. Billionaires often act before certainty exists. Part 2. Most people think short-term average people optimize for immediate comfort. Billionaires often optimize for long-term dominance. This creates radically different behavior patterns. Most people ask, "How much money can I make this month?" Billionaires ask, "How can I build a system that compounds for decades?" This is why so many people remain financially trapped. Because they chase income instead of ownership, salary instead of equity, consumption instead of assets, short-term pleasure instead of long-term leverage. Modern society encourages this constantly. People are trained to consume wealth signals instead of build wealth systems. Luxury cars, designer brands, status spending, social media visibility. The average person wants to look rich. Billionaires often want to become powerful. And those are very different goals. Because real wealth is usually built quietly, long before the world notices it. Part 3. The failure tolerance gap. Most people experience failure emotionally. Billionaires often experience failure strategically. This changes everything. The average person fails once and interprets failure as identity. "I'm not good enough. This isn't for me. I should stop." But high-level entrepreneurs often treat failure as data, feedback, iteration, experimentation. This is one reason why many billionaire founders failed repeatedly before succeeding. Because massive success usually emerges from surviving enough iterations, not avoiding mistakes. But most people cannot psychologically survive repeated uncertainty. Failure damages their self-image. Social criticism destroys momentum. Fear overrides ambition. And eventually, they retreat back toward stability. This is why most people never stay in the game long enough for compounding to occur. Part 4. Billionaires think in systems. One of the biggest psychological differences between average people and billionaires is scale perception. Most people think linearly. Billionaires think systemically. The average person trades time for money. Billionaires build systems that operate independently of their time. This is why ownership matters so much. A billionaire does not simply work harder. They build leverage, technology leverage, capital leverage, media leverage, human leverage, and leverage creates exponential outcomes. This is why one successful app can generate billions. One algorithm can influence entire industries. One platform can dominate global markets. Modern wealth is increasingly built through scalable systems, not physical labor. And many people never adapt psychologically to this reality, because industrial-era thinking still dominates modern education. People are trained to become workers inside systems, not owners of systems. Part 5. The obsession factor. One of the most uncomfortable truths about billionaires is that many are psychologically obsessive. Not balanced, not relaxed. Obsessive. Extreme wealth often requires extreme focus, years of sacrifice, constant pressure, relentless execution. This is why many billionaires appear socially unusual, because the mindset required to build massive empires is often incompatible with normal life balance. Modern culture celebrates billionaire success, but rarely discusses the psychological cost behind it. Burnout, isolation, relationship damage, emotional instability, paranoia. Because once people operate at extreme scales of power, the pressure becomes immense. And this creates another misunderstanding. Most people admire billionaire outcomes, but they would never tolerate billionaire lifestyles. Part 6. The hidden reality of power. At extreme levels, wealth is no longer just about money. It becomes about influence, control, infrastructure, narrative shaping. The world's most powerful individuals increasingly control information technology, media, artificial intelligence, financial systems. And this changes how billionaires think. Because eventually, money stops being the goal. Power becomes the goal. The ability to shape reality itself. This is why modern billionaires invest heavily into AI media platforms, data systems, space technology, global infrastructure. Because whoever controls systems increasingly controls the future. And most people never think at this scale. They focus on survival, bills, monthly expenses, immediate problems, while billionaires focus on positioning themselves decades ahead of society. Ending. The final truth. Most people will never become billionaires. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack the psychological framework required for extreme wealth. Because billionaire thinking often requires uncertainty, tolerance, delayed gratification, obsession, strategic risk-taking, emotional resilience, long-term vision, and most humans are biologically optimized for safety, not exponential ambition. The uncomfortable truth is, becoming a billionaire may require becoming psychologically abnormal, because extreme outcomes rarely emerge from normal behavior. And perhaps this explains something deeper about modern society. The people who shape civilization are often the people most psychologically different from the average person. The real question is not whether becoming a billionaire is possible. The real question is, what kind of mind does it take to pursue power at that scale? And what does society become when those minds increasingly control the future? Subscribe to Wealth OS for more documentaries on wealth, power, AI, and the hidden psychology behind modern society.